What's up, magical people? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magik, and today we are talking about the winter solstice and its magical significance. This is truly the mark of the new year, the return of the light. This is the most celebrated holiday in every ancient tradition. This is what sacred sites and specific rituals were designed to honor and amplify. This is a powerful time in the year, and I'm super excited to drop into this video, share some of the archetypal energies and invitations that you can work with during this time. Of course, this is the Christmas season, and the original celebration of Christmas was the solstice. So we're gonna talk a lot more about that, and I have a bunch of super juicy holiday gifts for y'all. If you want to come to my solstice ritual on the 21st, please click the link below. I actually have a beautiful ritual series that's going on for this winter. So it's solstice, full moon in Cancer, and new moon in Capricorn, which is the first new moon of the year. And so you can get all three of these rituals bundled up, and I'm so excited to offer them because it's really a powerful cosmological alignment with the solstice, then utilizing the Great Mother and the Healer with the Cancer new moon, and then stepping into the Great Father energy of our mission and our purpose with Capricorn. And also, final little tidbit is that if you pre-order my book, Intuition, which is out January 30th, you have access to my super powered magical year end of 2023 workshop, setting yourself up for the most magical year in 2024, which is the year of the dragon. So if you pre-order today, you just submit your proof of purchase, and my team will get you all dialed in and set up to join me for the most magical year workshop. So those are some little tidbits that I have for all of you, just so we can join together in this holiday season. Now, again, Christmas is the celebration of the solstice. So this was originally about the sun, S-U-N, the cosmological traversing pattern of the sun and the shortest day of the year. So this is the time when we see the sun the least. It's the longest night. It's the darkest night. This is truly when we are diving into the shadows, the opportunity for rebirth, and then allowing the S-U-N sun to be born again. So that's where we get this story of Jesus. It's very allegorical. It's very metaphorical. The Bible uses a lot of allegory and story in order to explain these tales and legends of God and the divine. Originally, pre-Christianity, God was nature. And so everything that we did was in response to and relationship with nature. And so that's why the story of Jesus comes from the sun, again, S-U-N, and turned into S-O-N. It's like not an accident that it's even the same word, right? So originally we were celebrating the solstice on Christmas. And there's so many beautiful ancient traditions. Bringing evergreen trees, like this tree just smells so nice. Bringing evergreen trees into our home is an ancient pagan rite. Evergreen trees are one of the only plants that stay green during wintertime. And so not only were they a symbol of eternal life, even like Sequoia sempervirens, which most of you know I'm from the redwoods. So sempervirens means eternal life or evergreen. The word life and the word green come from the same origin. So eternal life and evergreen really meant the same thing. So an evergreen tree is representative of this eternal life of fertility, of stability, of sustainability, like the capacity to stay alive through these harsh times, through these winter moments. And so when we bring evergreen trees into our home, not only do they have this beautiful fragrant scent, not only are they maintaining their green vibrance and aliveness when most of the other trees, when you look around during this time, are completely barren, they've died. These are holding their life. They're operating in a dormant state, just like every other tree, right? They still take their winter, but they just don't lose their leaves. And then, of course, once they would dry, or once the holiday or season is complete, then you would chop them and use them for firewood, and they would still bring a further blessing to your home. So we would decorate them because red is often the only color of any of the fruit or foods remaining during this season, right? So there's like the kind of manzanita style red berries, holly berries, even mistletoe, pomegranates. There's these winter apples, these winter fruits that still are produced or can still be harvested during this period. They're few and far between. A lot of them are just for the birds, literally, not figuratively. But that's how we get the tradition of decorating our trees, is because that's what the natural world, that was all that remained, was these like red balls of apples or pomegranates or berries on the green of the trees that would still be producing during this time. Now, solstice itself, again, is this cosmic alignment. It's the return of the sun after the darkest night. So this is going to be that night of December 20th. is the longest night of the year. Obviously in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be the longest day of the year in the southern hemisphere. So we're talking about northern because that's where I am, right? But this is actually the new year. Now there's a bunch of different, some of you may have seen my Origins of Samhain and Halloween video, and that's like the witch's new year, right? And I do think it makes sense for the year energetically to start in winter, right? Like we start with the depths, but some people feel like, no, it doesn't make sense. Like we want to start with sort of the renewal of life, which is more how the Chinese lunar calendar operates. Their new year is in February, sort of moving in towards spring. You get to make of it what you want, right? We got a lot of different calendars functioning in this modern day. Some of them make more sense than others. And so we really get to just choose what it is that we desire to align with. So for me, I love having kind of like a double New Year's experience. I treat the solstice as New Year's. So what I do on the 21st is a celebration of augury. Now, some of you have heard me talk about augury. This is my New Year's Day ritual. Augury was originally divination through nature in the Roman tradition, and it was like how you would read the way that the flocks of birds would fly through the sky, or that the waves would crash, or that the wind would rustle through the waves of grain, and you would interpret the information that was being provided to you. You would read the language of the universe through how it was being expressed in nature. And that's, of course, what Intuition, my book, is all about. So again, make sure you pre-order, because everyone who pre-orders gets to come to the Most Magical Year workshop. And what augury has turned into and how I utilize it is actually sort of divination in reverse. So you do all of the things on the solstice or on New Year's Day that you want to bring into your life. So you create the divination. Rather than reading and interpreting something in order to receive information, you let the information be received by your actions. I'll give you an example. What I like to do on solstice and on New Year's Day is really take good care of my body, buy myself something beautiful and luxurious that makes me feel good, generating abundance, right? I like to make sure that money is coming in to me. I like to make sure that I'm spending time with people I love and eating really good food. And oftentimes I'll be in a fabulous place because I love to travel. So I want to be energetically aligned with adventure that year. It really just depends on your intentions and what you're looking for your year. So you can do that on the 21st, that sort of first New Year's Day solstice, New Year's. And then you can also do it on January 1st, because that, of course, is the collective Western world's agreement of when New Year's Day is. And so there's a lot to be said about the entirety of humanity sort of agreeing, like 8 billion people agreeing that this is New Year's, and what the universe would see as New Year's, right? So you get to use both. It's like if you don't do it on the 21st, you have a second chance, right? Now, there's so much, again, metaphor and allegory surrounding the solstice. But if you look at the truth of this energy, right, for most of us, again, in the northern hemisphere where it's winter solstice, winter is a time of barrenness. It's a time of introspection. It's internal. I'm here in Austin, Texas, filming this video right now, and a sister of mine was like naked this morning, and she's like, how are you so tan? And I'm like, because fucking LA doesn't have winter. And I'm noticing myself with this deep, like fervent yearning and desire to just be inside. And yet it's been like 75 and sunny every single day of December in LA. And I'm like, this is not winter. And I've been like doing my yoga outside and like meditating naked in the sunshine and all of these things. And it's great, but I can feel the urge to go outside and take a walk, which of course is good for me, right? But there would not be any compulsion or like requirement of me to do that if I was living in a really snowy place. If it's like -20 outside, then you feel okay with sitting in by the fire and reading books and just taking it easy. So what we really want to look at is what needs to be reborn in relationship to our relationship with winter. So whether that's rest and action, some of us are going to need to take more rest. Some of us are going to need to take more action. I'm in the rest phase. Like I really need to rest. And that's been challenging for me with where my business is. I have the first book coming out. I have the second manuscript for my second book is already due while the first book's coming out. Like there's a lot happening. I still run a regular business. I have a full-time team. Like what we're doing, what we're building in this goddess-based business requires a lot of all of us. We can't just like chill the fuck out and not do anything right now because this mission is so big and it's asking summer energy of us. And so the fact that LA is like nice and sunny has not been lost on me. I'm like, damn, I can't even get a fucking winter vibe over here because I'm not in a winter season in my life. So for me, it's about rebirthing the idea of that, like despite how much I want to go into that like darkness and cocoon, it's like, okay, I want to do that, but could I operate from the same vibrational alignment with the darkness and cocoon internally? Like, can I allow myself to have the same type of rest and the same type of ease and the same type of transformative metamorphosis in the way that I'm responding to my reality? Can I be reborn even in how I'm relating to the fact that I'm in a summer season despite wanting it to be winter because the world around me is in winter? Now, that might sound a little bit convoluted, so let's break that down a little bit further. You get to look at in your life what needs to be reborn. If I was being resistant to the fact that I'm in summer, like my business is requiring everything of me that I have to give, and guess what? It hasn't stopped all year. In the last year, I've never worked as hard as I have. So we can look at, right, it's not just that the seasons are these microcosmic things that we get 4 of every year. It's also the season that you're in your life. So I'm in a summer season, or maybe like a spring, really. It's actually like the spring kind of season for me because I am generating so much. Like I'm in the seeds planting and sprouting and tending and like watching the garden, and it's up to me. I have to be sowing the seeds in order to be able to reap the results and the benefits that I desire to in the coming years, in the coming seasons. So if I'm in resistance to the fact that this is springtime for me, if I'm frustrated, if I'm like forcing the rest and the winter and saying like, no, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm not gonna show up the way that I know that I'm supposed to, then I am not giving myself the opportunity to be reborn. I'm not following through with what I know the universe is asking of me, and I'm creating resistance. I'm creating sort of that like inner winter where it's barren and it's empty, but not the part of the inner winter that is the dormant state of regeneration. It's like, oh, I'm taking the rest in order to then have the energy to express and blossom again in springtime. So you really want to look at, again, what darkness in your life, like for me, that would be resistance to the fact that this is an important period, an important season in my life. I can't just chill and take rest as much as I want to. I definitely have been resting a lot more than I was, a few months ago, certainly a lot more, but I can't just fully take off. I can't just shut down and turn off because the universe is asking, the goddess has a big mission for me. So how can you look at what in your life needs you to be reborn? What in your life needs you to respond differently, react differently? What in your life is asking for you not only to accept its darkness, this winter energy, or its barrenness, its emptiness, and simultaneously trust in the light returning? Be willing to shine brighter despite the darkness or the shadow. What are you willing to illuminate through this energy of rebirth? And those are really important questions to ask yourself. What season are you in your life? Are you in winter and you're aligned with the world around you, as long as you're in the northern hemisphere? Are you in springtime where like you got to be building, you got to be planting the seeds, you got to be making shit happen? Are you in harvest, in autumn, like, oh my God, all of the work that I've done is coming to fruition, like I'm receiving all these blessings, I'm just being rewarded over and over again, like this is so good. Can I just be in gratitude and appreciation, right? We sort of just come from that harvest season, again, at least in the northern hemisphere. How can you allow yourself to be aware of the season that you're in your life, relate that to the season that you're in physically in your environment, and then witness what way you are being asked to be reborn and bring the light to that interaction, because that's what's happening for solstice. So we're going to be talking a lot about this in the ritual. I'm super excited to be gathering with you all for a solstice ritual because I haven't been doing a lot of new moon rituals or full moon rituals. I haven't been doing a lot of rituals with the coven this year because I just have been too busy to even plan them. And that is a big thing that I'm rebirthing. Is like, okay, even in this summer or spring season where I'm doing so much in my business, can I also continue to offer and share and be in alignment with the things that actually nourish me the most. I love being in ritual with my community. I love offering those rituals to all of you. I have so many joyous, beautiful, magical experiences in those rituals, and they make me feel like who I am. And it's in alignment for me to share those rituals, but it does take time and effort and energy, and very spring, again, like very spring frequency. She's in springtime, y'all, despite how much I just want to be somewhere snowy and like sit by a fire and drink hot cider and not talk to anyone for 3 months. But that's not what we're doing here. So how can you look at what this solstice energy is inviting you into? How can you see, again, why we're working with I didn't choose that these were the two zodiacal archetypes that are present during this time. The goddess chose, but we're working with the inner mother and inner father to balance our relationship to the darkness, to work and play, to rest and action, because we have to be able to reparent ourselves. And that is the darkness and the light, which again is not like negative and positive, but it's feminine and masculine. It's the day and the night. We have to have both. All the plants on earth would die if there was no such thing as night. Because even the plants that are accustomed to full sun all the time, they would not be able to tolerate full sun literally all the time. They can handle it all day, but they couldn't handle it all night. Everybody needs night. We all need sleep. We all need rest. So my invitation for you is really looking at what is asking to be healed. What part of your darkness? And again, like my example was it's very light. It's not dark, right? It's some resistance. So that's because I've worked through so much of my shit. Not done, never gonna be done. That will never happen. Nobody's ever perfect. You find a teacher who tells you that they're perfect and they've healed everything that they have to heal, they're lying and they're full of shit. And I'd love to see them like get into a relationship or whatever other thing would bring up, their stuff for them. But this is really about looking within yourself. What is the thing that's most important for me to rebirth right now? What is the thing that feels the darkest, that needs to be illuminated either by trust, by love, by compassion and acceptance, by perseverance and resilience, from scarcity into abundance? What is that in my life? And when you can work with that and see, where does the shadow come from? Where is like the dark night in this? What is the old belief? What is the sticky, uncomfortable part of this thing? How can I work with that? How can I shed light on the parts that I may have been blind to? And how can I walk forward reborn, operating in a new way, operating in a different frequency than the version of me that operated with this challenge or responded to this challenge in this particular way that, again, is asking to be reborn? So that is really the work right now, y'all. Like, there's so many ways to celebrate. There's so many true origins of Christmas. I've got a ton of beautiful little reels on the true origins of Christmas coming up on Instagram with just little tidbits. And I will make another YouTube video as well about the true origins of Christmas coming up soon. We've got Witchy Way to Start Your Days coming out this weekend. There's a lot of fun videos coming up. I know I've been kind of in like bursts, and then I went to Africa and was in Tanzania and like had a lot going on, and my cat sitter lost Minerva, and so like we've been in a process over here, but there will be a lot more epic videos coming here on YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber, make sure that you are subscribed, because this is going to just keep getting juicier. And really what this work is about the archetypes and how you can work with the energy of darkness and light and rebirth and the inner mother and the inner father and the healer in order to access your mission. Because that's certainly, I just did a bunch of podcasts today, and that's the theme for me, is that I accessed my mission and I've actualized my purpose on this earth by doing my healing work, by eradicating the subconscious limiting beliefs that told me that I wasn't worthy of it, or that I didn't deserve abundance, or I would never find it, or whatever. So that's what I want you all to look at and see. What part of your life desires and requires healing the most? How can you be the light that shines upon it and that which accepts the shadow? How can you work with the frequencies and energies of this rebirth energy for the solstice to then come into that Cancer new moon, where we receive this insight and information? That's the illumination, right? The sun returning, and the sun is returning and illuminating the full moon in the sign of the Great Mother and the Healer. So then how can you be even more aware with everything that you received through and for and from the solstice to come to further completion with the patterns that are perpetuating the old ways that you want to be reborn from? With the Cancer new moon, how can you heal those things? Then 2 weeks after that Cancer new moon, we drop into the new moon in Capricorn, which is the seed planting and sowing of our intentions to actualize our mission and to live embodied in our purpose, to utilize that unconditionally loving nature of the mother with the drive and ambition of the father, the purposeful direction of the father. How do we bring those two frequencies together in order to make 2024 the most magical year ever? Which again leads me back to, if you have pre-ordered my book, if you haven't yet, all the links are down below. If you've pre-ordered my book, you have access to the Most Magical Year workshop on December 28th. It's gonna be so fun and sweet and magical, and truly, like, this is one of those practices that I really utilize and work with in order to call in my most magical manifestations. And a chance to win one-on-one coaching with me. There's other beautiful bonuses that are coming for you in January, again, for pre-ordering my book, Intuition, that's out on January 30th. And this gorgeous ritual bundle is available for you to work with these energies, to come into coven and community with me so that we can do this ritual together and really amplify and build upon the solstice into the healing to actualize the mission. So it's gonna be super sweet and rich in magic, and transformation is such an important way to build on these energies and to honor the true holy day spirit within ourselves and with one another. So I can't wait to see you all there. Thank you again so much for all of your pre-orders. I'm so incredibly grateful. You all really make this worth doing. You bless my life so deeply. I appreciate you so much. I am Mia Magik. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I can't wait to hear from all of you and see your faces on all of these beautiful rituals coming up. As always, thank you so much for allowing me the great honor and pleasure of welcoming you to your most magical life.